So anyway, so let's go ahead and start our unity by doing our 3 ohms together, okay? Oh. Great. Well, that put us in the mood for empathy. So remember that that's the word that we've been meditating on, right? Empathy? Or have you been doing something else? Our together word is empathy, and the saboteur of empathy has been, for this last month, has been apathy. Empathy is an interesting word because it's used so much these days with people who are seeking what we call spirituality. So empathy is that part of us that actually feels not only other humans, but feels animals, feels trees, feels everything that's around us. And it can be from anywhere, from a little bit to a lot. All humans are empathetic, no matter how poorly they act up. All humans are empathetic. We all know how other people feel. So when we do bad things and we know that we're doing it to another person, yeah, we know what we're doing. Most of us know the feeling of betrayal. If you don't, truly, I'm not trying to be negative, but you will. It's one of those things that we don't realize that we're betraying ourselves when we betray another person. Betrayal is one of those things that when betrayal comes into your life, at some point or another, you've betrayed yourself somewhere along the line there. So when we do that, we leave ourselves open to betrayal by others. The reason I'm saying this is because we have a tendency to think that we're always the good one and everybody else is always the bad one. Because we feel pain, we feel our pain. And we're like, well, if they feel pain, well, good for them because they need to, you know? So empathy is understanding. So when a person does things that are bad to harm other people, their sense of empathy is operating, but they refuse to use it as a way to grow. They would rather dominate or have control, thinking that that'll make it so that they don't have any pain. So see, they definitely feel pain. People who are hurting other people definitely feel pain, but they want to be in control of that pain and make sure that they feel like if they issue enough pain out this way, they're not going to be in pain. But because we make other people be in pain, doesn't erase the pain that we feel that they caused us. Because if it did, I'd recommend, if you want to feel better, then yeah, you got to go hurt that person. But you see how absolutely absurd that is. So we have to remember that everybody feels pain and everybody feels the pain of another person. But it's your choice of what you're going to do with the pain that you feel in others. That's what makes us spiritual or not. So when we say people don't feel, that's just, I don't even know where that comes from. Of course we feel. It just means we're in opposition with each other. So I say that so that you don't think that people don't feel. Empathy is how we become human beings rather than just people. So when you see other people having an argument with one another, you might want to take sides and feel somebody's right and the other person is wrong. It could be very clear, or it could be that it appears to be clear and it's not at all. So I'm saying this to you so that you teach yourself to take a moment before we go into a reaction and actually allow yourself to feel the pain that's going on in the room. We don't usually want to feel other people's pain, particularly somebody that we're in opposition with. Because like I said, there's this tendency to want to say, well, they deserve it, or that's the way that it is, or good for them, or whatever. But ignoring other people's pain doesn't make us go deeper into our spirituality. And there's other things where people will tell me, I'm too empathetic. I don't like it at all. I wish I wasn't. I feel everybody's pain, and I'm a mess because of it. That doesn't have to be that way either. Empathy is not the saboteur. It's a virtue. Empathy isn't making us a chocolate mess. Not at all. It's we all have to learn to feel pain and to be able to move through it. So that every single person here feels pain since the day you were born. Day you were born, it was probably like, oh my God, what the hell's happening here? It's like, I'm hungry. There's all these different things that cause pain at various ages and development, right? So we have pain all the time. There's a wide variety of pain. Somebody says no to you, makes you feel like, ow, really? No? Right? So we feel pain all the time. So this thing about empathy, why are we talking about empathy when we already know that we all feel pain? Because spiritually speaking, we're seeking to understand how to learn through feeling pain. It's not enough just to feel pain. We all feel pain. That's why I keep saying that to you. Empathy is about understanding what causes pain so that we can heal better, so that we can become more compassionate, or we can really thrive in our ability to be human beings and intuitively understand perhaps the other person better. But when we assume that we know what the other person's saying, or we assume that the other person is bad, then not only will you not feel their pain, you've made a conscious choice not to do anything about it, or to choose not to feel, but you will feel it anyway, because you're a human being. And no matter what, you can't turn that off. You can choose to ignore it, but you will feel pain, yours and others, all the way up till the day you die. It won't go away. Everybody feels pain, and everybody feels everybody else's pain. I'm saying this to you so that you know it's a choice. When you stay open, it won't take you down consciously feeling other people's pain, because unconsciously you're feeling it all the time. And when you're unconsciously feeling other people's pain, you can actually become the pain that you refuse to feel. Do you understand what I'm saying? So like if I pretend that I'm not angry and I'm around people who are really angry, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not angry. When I go home, that's going to affect me because I am angry. But I'm refusing to accept it within myself. You got to find it within yourself and not be judgmental about yourself, that you feel angry, that you feel jealous, that you feel apathetic, whatever it is. Apathy still has feelings to it. You have feelings. So that doesn't make you unique. It makes you a human being. So what you're feeling and how you're feeling it, other people are feeling it too. Everybody feels pain, but we have to learn to make the choice to want to reduce pain within ourselves and with others. That's what empathy, true conscious empathy, being an empathetic person is all about, is learning to choose how to learn to heal, which means you have to let yourself actually open up, know that the pain is there, and not be afraid of it, not to be afraid of it, but to deal with it, to see it as a challenge, as a lesson to counterbalance the pain. How do you counterbalance pain? We do know this, you do know the answer. And as soon as I tell it to you, you're going to be like, oh yes, of course. Through compassion. Having the ability to feel compassion for yourself. By feeling that compassion for yourself, it will alert you and wake you up to experiencing compassion for the person that you feel hurt you. You notice I'm not saying to you, you need to go up to them and have a conversation. That might be good in some situations, but in other situations, this is not a good idea. If you have opposition with somebody else, they have opposition with you, it's not always a good idea to be in the same room. So these things that I'm telling you about, you don't have to be in the same room with somebody. It's you with yourself when you're considering this situation with the other person. And you know that they're in pain and you're in pain, and you want to say, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Now, in our family, we have this thing, Ruby knows about this. I'm not really a person who really enjoys hearing, I don't care. So, right? So what do we use?
I don't mind.
I don't mind. And so instead of saying, well, I don't care, do what you want. It's more like, okay, I don't mind what's the decision is going to be. You see, it's very different. And it might seem like, oh, so. No, it's not so. You see, we're trying to like help ourselves to have more compassion. And the words, remember, that we speak can only be the words that we think. So if we can take just a moment and change just that sentence, I don't care. How often does it care? I don't care. And does it look like I don't care? I'm doing this. I'm having a physical reaction. I don't care. Well, we know that that's not true. Obviously, it's affecting me in such a way. But if I'm really in a place where I don't mind, that's different. It means I can go this way or I can go that way. I don't mind. It's all right. You choose. I don't mind. But that's a very different thing than I don't care. I mean, how often is it that you really don't care? If you're having a disagreement with someone, you'll feel it. Even if you haven't seen the person in quite some time, if they bring up that person's name, you could feel it right here. Because it still lives with you, because it's unresolved. But you might say something like, I don't mind being separated. Instead of, I don't care. I'm glad I don't talk to her anymore. It's better to kind of be more like, I don't mind being separated. Because I know that if we're together, it's going to be explosive. And I really don't want us to be more hurt than we already are. That's empathy. That's understanding that explosiveness can happen. And when that happens, it means other people can be hurt by the debris that gets put out there. So that's empathy, means you care. It doesn't mean that you know what to do. It means you care. You care. So take care of you when you're having these disagreements with other people. And as you give yourself compassion, the nature of compassion will obliterate selfishness. So when people say, why do you keep saying give compassion to yourself? It's so selfish. No, it is not. That virtue will obliterate selfishness. So when you give yourself compassion, I'm talking about true compassion, like going, oh my gosh, you're just over the top about this. You need to rest. You need to rest. You need to not think about this so much. It's hurting you. You have to speak to yourself like this instead of just like, and letting yourself rage inside of yourself. If you allow yourself to rage and rage and rage, not only will it destroy your sleep that night, but it could infect your sleep for a whole week or longer. Not only your sleep, but that means your day too is consumed by negative thinking. And then I'd have to ask, where is your compassion for you? We don't have to stew the way that we do. How many really great solutions have you got to bless? How many great solutions have come to you by this? When's the last time you made your very best decision in a moment like this? So the first thing we have to do when we're in a really heightened state of God bless. When we're in a really heightened state of agitation, irritation, being consumed with certain thoughts, in that moment, it's very difficult to come to your rescue, and you really can feel like somebody else should come in and help me. I help others. Where are they for me? So what does that mean? That you just ignore yourself and you just wait? Why would you do that? You have you. You are always available for you. But you see, we've forgotten that this is the essence of spirituality, because sometimes in religion, it doesn't empower you. You pray to a God that lives outside of you. For me, the word God is in everything. It means it's in my ears, it's in my brain, it's in my fingertips, it's in my eyes, it's in every part of me. And I can choose to ignore that God is a huge, huge part of who I am. I can totally ignore that. Or not. Once you know it, then you're not going to wait for other people to come in and save you. You're not going to wait for some magical formula, something that you can just take or smoke or drop or this or that. You won't wait for that, because it'll only be like a Band-Aid, and Band-Aids are good. They have their place. But it won't make you have bliss. But being aware that spirituality comes from the inside, your rescue comes from the inside, you'll stop waiting and you'll start treating yourself with more dignity. And you'll start asking yourself, do I really want to live in this agitated state? Do I really want to keep thinking about harming these people? Really, because we are thinking that. We're thinking harmful thoughts. Well, they need to get fired. Okay, they get fired, then their family gets hungry and all these other things happen. You never want to wish these things upon other people because you feel that they've hurt you. You can do it. You have the free will to do it. But I tell you these things so that you know when you put that energy out, it will go to them and it will affect them. And then it returns back to you, because that's cause and effect. That's how the universe works. There is no reward. There is no punishment. It certainly feels that way, but there is not. And the quicker that we can get through that illusion to punish or not to be punished, just leave that word out of your brain, you'll feel better. Yeah, but what about? But they need to be heard. They need to learn. And if you're pointing fingers and you're doing like this, you might want to realize how many are pointing back at you. We all know this. You've been taught this from people. You know, this is never a good idea. They need to learn. Da, 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 da. Finger pointing, this one or this one. It's not friendly. It's not at all. It's just not at all. Where is your empathy? You don't, like I said, you don't have to interact with someone in order to feel empathy for them. Because like I said, if you're in the same room and this is an explosive combination, then have the empathy, the good grace, the discernment to not be in that room with that person, that you and that person can explode. Have the grace to not do that. That's compassion for yourself as much as for the other person, as much as for yourself. You see, spirituality is a whole new way of problem solving. It's not so simple as just, you know, I think I'm just going to love everybody. Do you? It's always easier to love people that we've never met. I'm sending love out into the world. I do it every day. But where my real lessons come is from the people I interact with every day. Can I love the people that disagree with me? Can I find a loving way to disagree with them? Doesn't mean I have to like pretend to agree with them just so that I don't have to have a disagreement. No, There are times that we disagree with people. But it's time, if you're on the spiritual path, to awaken your spirituality, your humanity, and how you problem solve. Like I said, sometimes two people shouldn't be in the same room together. Okay. But how do you deal with it when you're away from that person? Because thoughts of them will come into your mind. And do you find yourself going over they said this, they said that, da, 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 da. Everybody does that. I do it, you do it, they do it, everybody does it. But it's about awareness, becoming aware that this is happening and not thinking that you're a bad person and they're a bad person. And that's the way it is in absolutes. But spirituality doesn't have absolutes. It's you become aware that you've spent 5 minutes looking at this situation going, yeah, whatever it might be. I have to exaggerate with my emotional response for you so that you can see it. So I say it to you this way so that you can see that you do this, I do this, we do this. Don't be under any illusion that we don't. It doesn't make us bad. We have to become aware to be able to understand that we will feel better. We will have a better life. We will be stronger. We will be happier. We will be more empowered if we live the life of grace or spirituality or empathy. We will. We will. Seriously, empathy is not something that hurts you. You do know what I do for a living, right? I have to be open and willing, really willing to actually feel and experience your pain when we sit together. Because if I don't, then we're not really doing what we've agreed to do. Because you've come to my office to have me feel your pain. And I have willingly accepted that. Now, when you look at me right now, do I look like I'm unhealthy for doing that? Does it feel to you like I'm in a weakened state? No. Because spirituality makes us strong. Choosing goodness will always empower you, and it'll make you be able to bear the burdens where you feel weak, where you feel put upon, where you feel hurt. It will uplift those and transform them. Listening and feeling other people's pain has taught me so much about myself, about my reactions to people, about my reactions to myself. It has made me a better person. I realize that when people do this and they don't want to hear your story. They don't want to hear what you have to say. They don't want to hear about your pain. I realize that that will cut you off from your humanity. And that is much more difficult to overcome and to repair than it is to live the life of an empath. To live the life of an empath is to know that feeling other people's pain will not kill you. Proof. Mother's pain, father's pain too, but mother's pain is the pain that I hear the most of. Mother's pain. My child doesn't speak to me. My child speaks too much to me. My children don't speak to one another. I don't have enough money to send my child to school. I can't spend time with my child because I have to work so much. Mother's pain. See, it even like makes me feel this way. Don't be afraid of your emotions. when you let yourself really have a diverse landscape, mountains and oceans and valleys inside of you, all the different things, you learn to live in those landscapes and it won't hold you back. It won't hold you back. It'll make you stronger. It will. It's when you refuse to feel pain that you weaken, because when you refuse to feel it, it's already there. So you think you have a choice to make it go away right in that moment? No, because you're feeling it. Ow, 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 ow. But you do have a choice to have compassion for yourself in that moment and tell yourself, you're okay. Breathe your way through this. Breathe your way through this. Breathe, breathe. You have the ability to be your own firefighter, your own paramedic. Come to your own rescue when you're on fire. A true empath will come to their own rescue. And when you do that, you begin to understand who you are and what you feel, and you can tell the difference between what belongs to you and what belongs to another. So when I sit with other people and their pain washes over me or it moves right into me, at the end of the day, I do a special little prayer and a whole little practice that I do to make sure that I go home only with my pain. We all have to learn, is this really my pain, or was I influenced by the people that I was around today? Because, you can be around people who are in a lot of pain and go home and you're still in pain. And then you put that pain out to your family. Now they feel it too. You have to help yourself to know the difference between, is this my pain or is this other people's pain? And it could be both. It could be that the other people's pain is playing off of your pain. You've contributed to it too. You walked in his room with your pain, they caught it from you, and then they started feeling it before you know it, everybody has it. But I'm saying this to you so that you actually have a process of understanding this, and that you have this part to you that has enough dignity that you want to help yourself to move through your emotions, knowing that they're never going to go away. Everybody feels pain. It's weird to me when people say that person just doesn't feel. No, everybody feels. Everybody feels pain. Even the most heinous person feels pain. How do you think they got to that place? A heinous person feels pain so much that they actually think they have control over themselves not having pain by not feeling other people. It's a choice that they're making, but they're still feeling it. So, of course, it's a completely different experience than we have. So we say they don't feel, but they do. They do. And it's important for you to know that, so that you know that we can be very bad to one another. Shunning is probably one of the worst things that I've ever seen. And I see it in families. I see it in groups of people. Wherever there's racism, there's shunning. It's true. Families shun one another. Pretending that people don't exist. If you want to hurt somebody, really shun them. Everybody knows what it's like to feel invisible. Shunning is designed to make a person feel unworthy and invisible. And how does a person get to a point where they would consciously do that to someone else? Because of their own pain, their own feeling of invisibility. And do you know that we can only get to a pain like that when we keep removing ourselves from other people? And we don't help ourselves. We don't believe in ourselves. We don't believe that we can help ourselves. We're always waiting for someone else to come in and do it. And when somebody doesn't come in and save me from my pain, it starts to make me feel like I'm just going to ignore you because you're not saving me from myself. Do you see how people can turn around like that? What you want to do is always be there for you. I'm telling you, the practice of self-compassion will never make you selfish. Never. Compassion, the nature of compassion, it doesn't get stagnant. It doesn't stop. Once you start feeding it to yourself, it moves through you, through your voice to other people. It moves through how you listen to other people. It moves through your hands on how you touch people, how you cook your dinner, how you drive. When you give yourself compassion, you begin to heal. And as you begin to heal, you begin to do your daily duties in a different way because you're feeling a little bit better. And you begin to look at other people and you can see that they have this pain, but they don't know how to make it move through them. They don't know how to make themselves feel better because they're not giving themselves any love. So they feel invisible. Because they think, if I say to somebody who feels invisible, will you always have you? They'll be like, oh yeah, right. Big deal. If that's how you feel about yourself, then why are you expecting other people to feel welcomed? When you're with you and you help you, that will move out and people will feel it and they'll feel more comfortable with you. And they'll want to be with you. I've learned this just from sitting with people. If I can be open and not have in my heart any sort of judgment about what someone's going through across from me, they will feel that. They will feel me in that way. And they'll relax and they'll open up and we can do some work. And if that person isn't in front of me, I still got to do that work with me. I got to trust me enough to talk to me, to help myself, to feel my own pain. It's true. People are going to gossip about us. It's true. And that's painful. People are going to disagree with us. That's painful. People are going to do this to us. That's painful. But nobody can get between you and yourself. Nobody can get between you and the divine. That's up to you. That's your choice. That's a private choice. We can say you can't worship, you can't pray, you can't do any of those things, you can't have any holy books, you can't have any relics, you can't have nothing. No, we could make it illegal. We'll hurt you if you worship. Nobody can take your relationship with spirituality away from you. It's in your conscience. It's your heart. Nobody can take that away. They can take all of the accoutrements away. They can make it illegal. No more prayer. They can take all of that away. But nobody can take your spirituality from you but you. Don't ignore yourself. Teach yourself how to feel compassion for yourself. To make yourself so strong that people feel your strength, but in a good way. They know you're not going to overpower them. They know that you're going to open up and be available. Right? It's not easy. I mean, it's not easy to get through disagreements. It's not. And we don't want to really sometimes know what the other person's feeling. And I don't even, I think that sometimes we don't want to feel the other person because we think then we'll be influenced by them and we'll give in, and then we'll be weak, and then we won't get what we want. Right? Wrong. When you have compassion for yourself and you feel compassion for them, you're just going to see the situation in a new way. You're not going to become wimpy, because spirituality would make you weak then. And I would never advocate anything that's going to make you weaker than when you started. Spirituality will not make you weaker. No. Why do it? You might as well just be mean-spirited. If you think that that's going to make you stronger, go for it. Spirituality will never make you weak. Compassion will never make you weak. It takes a very strong heart and mind to want to be compassionate, want to live a life of understanding. It doesn't take away from people wanting to hurt you or for you wanting to hurt other people necessarily. You just have to have more control over it. Let's go back in history for a moment. We all remember whether you were raised in a Christian home or a Hindu home or atheist home or whatever, you've probably heard this name, Jesus, right? You've heard about Jesus. Okay, so here Jesus was this spiritual master. And you see, even when I say this, you feel that kind of cringing. Oh, here we go, talking about Jesus. Don't do that. Look what happened to that man. It's kind of scary to be that spiritual, isn't it? People really didn't like him. There are people who adored him, but there are people who didn't like him at all. Why did they not like him? Because of his empowerment, and it made them jealous. And ultimately, when people suffer from such intense jealousy about someone that's really spiritual, they're going to have to kill them, aren't they? It's the only way to get rid of that. Because a master like that could influence people that spirituality is good for them, and it'll make them strong, and it'll make them strong in themselves, and they won't be susceptible to bad leadership. This is what I got from the story of the Master Jesus. He was telling people, don't be weak. Have compassion for yourself. Stand up, raise yourself up. Help others to raise themselves up so that you're never vulnerable to bad leadership. Everyone on the planet has to learn to have leadership over themselves, have empathy, so that we're never so vulnerable to bad leadership. Empathy gets you into that place. Do you see how strong it is? Empathy is strength. It is not weakness. So when I speak about the Master Jesus, he's very, very compassionate. He lived with lepers. Nobody thanked him for that. In fact, they were like disgusted by it. But he had the strength to do what had to be done. And he wasn't afraid to do it in front of people that he knew would have a violent reaction to him. Now that's spiritual courage. It is. So you don't have to ever have a weird feeling about the Master Jesus. He doesn't belong to Christianity. No master belongs to any religion. They're there for all of us. Never be afraid to read about a spiritual master. Never. Read about them in a whole new way. You don't have to think about all the bad leadership that went. Anybody can be a bad leader because people get consumed with, I want to have power over other people. And it can happen in religions, it can happen in politics, it can happen in everybody's home. How do you think we end up with domestic violence? There's somebody who wants to be in total control. Don't be afraid to be compassionate, because that is what's going to turn the world around. It's not going to be like my authority is bigger than your authority and I can hurt you more than you ever thought about hurting me. This is not a contest in life to who can hurt the other people the best, the worst, however you want to look at it. Spirituality is about inner strength, to be empathetic. is to understand pain and to understand that everybody has pain. And when people do bad things, it's because they didn't know how to process their pain. Should you rush in and do something for them? No, because you could be hurt and they could be hurt. It's best to love them from afar. And how do you do that? You send them energy. You send them peace, peace, peace. And again, people say, oh, so ridiculous. Like that's going to work. You send people yuck, yuck, yuck all day long. And it makes a difference. When you send people this, yuck, 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 it affects them. It leaves you, moves, it affects them, and it returns back to you. If everybody on the planet for 1 minute, if all of us could focus on peace for 1 minute, it would be life-changing. Can't be done. It's my little daydream. Can't be done right at the moment, or we would do it. But when people say that prayer doesn't matter, that's ridiculous. Seriously, that's just ridiculous. Everything you think matters. When you send negative thoughts out into the world is really crappy. And all the people are crappy and everything's crappy. It matters. Because then other people hear you and they're like, yeah, I feel that way too. Now we have a big old conversation about how crappy everybody is and how horrible it is. We have another person comes in. Okay, you don't think that matters? When those people leave that conversation, they're going to be filled with all of that energy, and then they're going to attract other people and want to talk about it again. It matters what you think and what you say. It matters because we're in relationship with everyone. When you pray and you pray for peace, it matters. It affects your entire body. All your organs are listening to you. When you pray for peace, every organ in your body is going, yeah, that feels good. That feels good. Your brain goes, yeah, I like that. That feels good. I want to think better thoughts. That feels good. Because prayer moves through you and moves out. It's goodness, it's compassion, and it touches other people. And they can feel better and they don't even know why. It makes a difference. I understand why people got in this place where they say prayers don't matter, only action. You know me, I'm not either or. I'm like prayer and action, of course. Never give up on prayer, because there are people out there that they're saying things so mean-spirited, so hateful in their minds, it needs a counterbalance. Not against the people that's thinking those thoughts, because they have no idea that they're like lobbing bombs out like this with those bad thoughts. They don't know that. So you have compassion by just sending out prayers for peace for everyone. That means for those that are lobbing the war bombs and everything else, as well as the people who practice peace. It makes a difference. You will feel better as an empathetic person. You will be unafraid to be empathetic. You will be unafraid to be able to open up and feel someone's pain, because you'll know it moves through you, because you'll know that you practice knowing your pain and their pain. My pain, your pain. It's like when you learn to listen really deeply, you get to learn, oh, those sounds are coming from that room. Oh, those sounds are coming from out here. Oh, those sounds are coming from inside of me. So the way that you learn about sound is how you learn about feeling other people's thoughts. That's not mine. I didn't wake up feeling like that today. I felt that way after I spoke to those people, and their energy touched on all my circumstances. And now I feel bad. So what do? You have compassion for yourself that this happened, that you've been wounded so bad at some point in your life that just being around people doing something that made you remember that pain, it erupted once again. So come to your own rescue in that moment and help yourself. It's okay. It's just a reverberation. It's just a memory. It's okay. Because nothing goes away. It's just how we learn to manage it. Treating trauma with compassion. It keeps your mind and your heart open, so you're unafraid. It's okay when you have pain. Come to your own rescue. Don't wait for someone to come and take your pain away, because they may not be capable of it. Your pain might upset them. Oh, I'm always here trying to help you with your pain. You're not doing anything for yourself. Why don't you help yourself? They've forgotten that they don't want to be treated that way. They've forgotten that. So you have you. And everybody thinks that that's plan Z. Having you can never seem to be plan A. Well, no, of course I have me. I don't have anybody else. Oh my God. You live with you 24/7. That's your main relationship. You could be married 50 years and your main relationship is with you. You are your main relationship. You will always be with you. It's your mind. You have a relationship with you always. And how do you treat yourself? With dignity, with respect? Or do you just like sit around going, no, I know you're nothing. You're nothing. You have nothing. Nobody sees anything in you. Would you ever think about treating other people that way? No, no. So I'm encouraging you today to remember your own humanity. And remember that if you feel pain, everybody around you feels pain. And everybody that you don't know feels pain. Yeah. And what you think matters. So that's why I'm always telling you, have a mantra. Because you know that what mantras do. Somebody brings me a Starbucks every first Sunday. So mantras are sacred words. So let's say that my mantra is, God is love, I am love. God is love, I am love. God is love, I am love. So I could do a mantra like, God is love, I am love. Oh yeah, God is love, I am love. How long are you supposed to do mantras for? Just for a few minutes? I'm not sure. Well, maybe if I read something. Okay. First of all, get interested in yourself. Get an interest in yourself. A mantra, you want to learn to say it like a love letter. If you say it with no thoughts, really, no deep feelings, it will work. But it's like you're in a car going 5 miles an hour. If you got the time, it'll get you there. But if you say a mantra in your mind like a love letter, you'll get a lot more from it. So I'll show you. God is love. I am love. God is love. I am love. God is love. I am love. Love letter to yourself, from yourself, reminding you who you are. Everything that you're looking for, you came equipped with. But we don't know that. When we see it in other people, so we want to be with them or we want to be like them. But it gives us the illusion that they have it and we don't. And that's where we really get into trouble. Everything that you admire in another person you have for yourself. You just forgot where you put your keys. You got it locked up somewhere in a box in your subconscious basement. And you forgot which box you put it in. That's all. It's there. And if you get really quiet and you listen to your intuition, you'll remember which box you put it in. Go fetch it. And remember to be good to your inner life. Treat yourself, your emotional self, with dignity. Help yourself. Don't think that it's plan Z to help yourself, that you have that you're unworthy, that other people don't come in and do it for you. Oh, and once you get the hang of it, you start to realize that you kind of like asking yourself for help. You will. You'll start to like it. You'll be like, oh yeah. Because you know what I do? Like when I really need help. So I don't have a book here that I could show you, but maybe I do. Let me see. Ah, yes, I do. Okay, so I'll grab a book and I will, I'll do a quick reading for myself. Kind of weird book reading, haha, doing a reading. I'm big on reading and doing a reading for myself, but I like to do it this way the best. I have books all over the house, right? I got spiritual books in every room, just in case I might be in need of some healing. I got pain going on too, you guys. So I've got Band-Aids all around the house. So just in case I go into room and I'm feeling like, oh, I have a quick pick-me-up, right? Let's see if I can find something here for you. Oh, this is all about Lord Ganesha, my favorite, right? See, isn't this wonderful? And what does Ganesha do for us? Ugh. So already I'm like, oh my gosh. So Ganesha, where is he? Here he is. Here's our little Ganesha, right? So he is the remover of obstacles. So I asked for a little something to help us with, goes right to it, right there to it. So it says, Lord Ganesha does not know what anger is. Don't you love that? Well, that's just something to ponder on right there. Really? Then it says, he is the embodiment of love. Where there is love, bad qualities like anger, conceit cannot gain entry. Where there is love, basically, negativity cannot enter into you. So we have love everywhere around us, inside of us, in every organ, in our mind, in all little parts to us. But what it means is where you awaken the feeling of love that is already inside of you, your obstacles of anger and all those other things are removed so that the expression of the love within you can be felt and experienced and put out. You see, my Band-Aid. This is how I help myself. This is one of the ways I help myself. I'm a girl with lots of troubles, apparently, because I'm always helping myself. I'm totally into helping myself. Really? I mean, why not? I live with me. Why would I ignore me all day? And then by the end of the day, I'm like, oh my God, no, I feel horrible. Well, why didn't you take care of yourself today? Come to your own rescue. You live with you all your life. Nobody can come to your rescue like you can, not as completely, as deeply as you can. I'm not saying don't ask for help. I'm just saying don't forget that help is always available, always. And as you begin to understand about your inner life, you also begin to remember that the air around you is filled with spiritual beings that your eyes can't see. It's true. It's true. And when you help yourself and you really work on self-compassion, it draws what we term as angels, divine beings, developed, advanced, spiritual beings are attracted. And you will feel that help. They're already around you, but they can't interfere. So they're usually like, oh God, this girl needs help. Wonder if she's ever going to ask for it. I don't, well, I can't even bear to look. She won't ask. Oh, Lordy, you know, ask them for some help. They can't interfere. So then, you know, when you're in trouble and you're like, help me, it will come. It's already there. But knock on the door. Wake up. Somebody help me. Know that it's there. Everything that we need, we have. We don't trust that. So we think we trust other people have it, but we don't trust we have it. I don't know why we always think that we're bereft. We weren't given any sort of love to help ourselves with. It's not right. We have it. Don't be afraid to be empathetic. Don't be afraid when you consciously feel other people's pain, because if you don't actually feel other people's pain, that pain is there anyway. That person is suffering in pain and you're suffering in pain, but you've chosen not to feel, to consciously feel it. But it is reacting on you. It is a vibration that's affecting you. So the more that you participate in what I call prayer, mantras, chanting, affirmations, visualizations, meditations, there's so much to choose from. Grab one. Start to build a 911 kit for yourself in the sense of have these things available to help yourself when you start to despair. Help yourself come to your own rescue. Become stronger so that you can bear it out better. You want to help yourself to get beyond the fear of pain. Pain's going to happen. Don't build up a whole fear and think that you can actually hide in your bedroom where nobody can help you. It's just not going to work. You're there with you everywhere you go. So your pain goes everywhere with you. And your compassion always goes with you, even though you've hid it in the back of your pantry in your heart. Compassion is still a key ingredient and it's still alive and well in your heart. But you have to open the door to your pantry in your heart. You've got to dig around in there, turn the light on, grab you some and take it. Help yourself. You'll feel better and you'll realize that being an empath is exactly what you want. It's exactly what you want. You want to be able to be strong enough to be unafraid to feel pain and joy. The pain is already there. Just because you consciously feel it doesn't mean it's worse. The pain is already there. People are suffering every day, all day long, and it's up to you to feel it or not. It's a choice. Everybody feels. Everybody feels. So going on this way that we are with empathy and apathy, the word that we're going to be focusing on for the month of July is the word balance. Now, the saboteur of balance this time is the word fairness. You're probably thinking, how could fairness be a saboteur? Let me just give you a little clue here. Fairness, we're looking at it, it's a perspective. The perspective. That's all I'm going to give to you. I want you to like ponder on what in the world is she talking about? Okay? I want you to ponder on this. Why is fairness a saboteur? But work on the word balance. 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 Balance in the way you walk. Balance in the way you think. Balance in the way you present. Balance. Balance from the inside and the outside. Okay? And I really welcome you to stay for some questions, but for those of you that want to go right now, let's do 3 ohms together again, okay? And please participate. We love men's voices. Peace be with you. Namaste.
Becky asked, is there a difference between an empath and having empathetic feelings?
Oh, did you hear that question? Is there a difference between being an empath and having empathetic feelings? Not at all. So an empath, I think what I was distinguishing by using the word was there are people who consciously are wanting their empathetic feelings to develop. So that would be an empath in that sense, because we're all empaths, basically. It's just that most of us don't recognize that we are. We only think some people are. They think people like me are empaths. It's like, I'm just conscious about it. That's all. And that would be the only difference, because everybody has empathy, but then there's that choice to use it or not. Because people think it will make them weak or make them feel pain. It's like, no, you'll feel other people's pain, but it doesn't belong to you, which means it'll move through you. But then when you do your own kind of practice at the end of the day, I think a practice at the end of the day is essential, to surrender everything that happened during the day, so that you can, it's like taking a shower at the end of the day. It's like washing off things from you so that you can come back to yourself. And then when you go to bed, you have just you. Yeah, Ruby.
So how do you help? I've got a granddaughter that came in very empathic, right? Super sensitive. So how do you help her distinguish what's hers and what's not?
Oh, it's a hard one, but I know who you're talking about here. And it's a very delicate situation, but you just say, you have to ask her little questions like, so were you feeling that way before you saw her? What was going on right before the two of you started playing? What happened there? So you're just like very gently kind of going in and just moving your way through it. And then you can say to her, sometimes when we have a disagreement with somebody, that's probably, sometimes what happens is those little feelings still stay with us, and then we experience them again. So you're teaching her, that, yeah, these things will linger with us and they can come back up again. And we think that children don't get that. It's like, why would they not get that? They're more in touch with their feelings than we are, and they're certainly more honest about it. So yeah, they would understand that. And so in that way, you're helping that person to really understand how to ponder, what was happening before then? Okay, so this is that, that's that, and this leads to that. So you start to understand and how to do that, It's better than just feeling out there like that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there another question that's up there? No. Anybody have a question? Deborah? Did she hear me?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, there we go. I have to be smarter than the unmute button.
Me too.
I'd like to review and go back over, me with my analytic mind.
No, I know that.
You're so funny. So in squelching your emotions, which I did at 21, 22, I just squelched them because I thought I would implode. And
did that work? Did you not?
What?
Did that work?
No, yeah. No, terrible.
Well, you were 21.
Yeah. But I did it for decades, and then slowly through your guidance and a lot of other things, I began to distinguish emotions within me. Like, I don't have jealousy. No, I never feel jealousy.
Oh.
And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is jealousy. Okay, so we need that recognition of our own feelings, so then we can recognize it in someone else and have empathy for them, and know that hey, we're human beings. We all have it. Now let's see how we can dissolve it or help ourselves with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I love what you just said. But it's like when I saw you say, well, we're human beings. Okay, let's just change just that one.
Okay,
Hey, we're human beings.
yes, we're human beings.
Rather than, oh, we're like, because when we do this, we're like, well, yeah, that's
No,
the
I
way
don't want to discount
human
us.
being. And I don't mean that you just did that, but I want to bring it so in case people don't know what I'm really doing here, because we do that, we'll like diminish us and go, well, we're humans. What do you expect?
Yeah, no, I did not mean
We're only
that.
the highest life. I know you didn't, dear. We're only the highest life form on the planet, right?
Right,
I love
right.
seeing you do that because I want everybody to know that we all do that. And so that also makes us diminish ourselves. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to bring that.
Oh, it's perfect. The other reason I think I kind of said that too is that I'm trying to alleviate the other person for feeling jealous. Like they think they're bad because they,
Trying to alleviate the other person's jealousy.
You're trying to alleviate their jealousy?
no, to alleviate their judgment of themselves because they are feeling jealousy. So that means that I must be bad because I'm feeling jealousy.
So you want to alleviate them from that feeling.
Right. And so that's where that came from, that, hey, we're human.
I see. So I say that to you in that way because whether you want to alleviate their feeling of jealousy or not, it's
Yeah. Not my power.
I just say that because we all want that. And see, because you just illustrated a really big point. Because in the beginning, when I was telling you how we wait for people to come and rescue us, yeah, we do. We wait. We wait for our partner. If I'm in a relationship, we'll wait for my partner to come and rescue me from my mood. Or we'll go to work and we wait for someone to rescue us, to notice that, oh, hey, you're not feeling so good today. What's going on? So they may or they may not. But what it does is it makes us forget that we have us this entire time as we're waiting for someone to come and help us or to recognize that we're in pain, and then because that just makes us feel lonely. It makes us feel like nobody sees us. When really maybe they just can't see you that day because they're so up in their head about whatever happened in their argument with somebody this morning, whatever it may be. But it's always about learning to never discount your availability to help yourself. And I love what you're saying. It's really, really good. And I love the way that you're being so vulnerable and just bringing it forth like that, because we do feel that way. And we do then want to reach out and help somebody to understand. But the best thing is just to let it be. and know that they're going through it. Send them peace. This is why I love the peace prayer so much, because I'm not interfering with anybody's process by doing that. When you send people, when you ask Ganesha to kindly remove the obstacles to peace, 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 we're not saying make them understand, give them this, give them that, make all these things happen, because how do we know what they really need, right? Exactly. So in that sense, it's about us just letting it be. And I love what you said, because to me, you were being very compassionate and very empathetic. You had felt that like another person's pain of jealousy so much that you just really wanted to help them out. That feeling is right there. Who could ever fault you for that? Of course, but I'm just saying that we can't, all we can do is send them peace or send them love, and just let that be. And then us not treating them as if they're suffering in that way, in the sense of like, if they're feeling jealousy towards us and you can feel it, you don't just like treat them as, oh, I see you have jealousy. Now I'm going to have to treat you differently. It's more like just letting them be who they are. But what you're doing is you're giving them compassion, but they may not want that from you. So you have to do it just gently. It's a funny thing. What I mean by that is because pride gets in the way. And people are like, oh, are you feeling sorry for me? No, I feel compassion because I have the same thing. It's a hard one.
Chris has a question next.
Oh, Chris?
Hi, thank you. So one thing, I had a professor a while back give an example of compassion and empathy, and saying that if you have like a psych client who is struggling empathy would climb down into the pit of despair to be with the client in order to fully understand what they're going through, whereas compassion would provide the client a ladder to climb out of the pit of despair. Because it seems like at least a lot of my students get into this idea that empathy means we have to go through exactly what our client is going through in order to help understand what they're doing. And it's been a huge struggle to try and explain that, first of all, we can never fully understand what someone's going through. And we don't have to go through and suffer what someone else has gone through in order to support them. So I'm just wondering about because compassion just seems like it fits so much better in that example, if I made any sense at all.
Oh, no, it made beautiful sense. I love it. I'm glad you brought it up. So we use the word empathy in the sense of, we're more like in the sense of that's how we feel. That's the actual, like, how the process. It's the process of compassion. Compassion will always be a virtue, no matter what. To be an empath just means that you're conscious, that you are an empathetic individual. Every human being is empathetic. And notice you didn't hear me say that you need to know what that person's going through, or if you're not a mama, you can't understand a mama. Doesn't mean that you actually understand the actual experience of being a mama if you're not a mama, but it doesn't mean that you can't experience that other person's pain. You don't have to, like she said, crawl down into a place and actually go through what they're going through. There's something there where people will say, you can never understand me because you haven't gone through this. That's throwing that back into the other person's face. Basically saying, I'm not finished being hurt here. Get away from me. And who are you to tell me that I'm weak? You see, this is our own reactions to things too. I'm saying these things to you so that you can just open up and understand compassion. Yes, will always be the virtue. We are all empaths. Putin is an empath, for God's sake. He just doesn't want to be. It's true. He has empathy, but he has no idea what to do with it. All he knows is that he is in such incredible pain that it must be everybody's fault. And you can see that everybody makes that mistake. The pain that I have has got to be somebody's fault. Are you telling me I caused my own pain? Are you telling me the way that I think, the way that I feel, the way that I live my life has caused me to have this? When this person said those things to me, this person did that to me, this person physically harmed me, you're telling me that my pain is not caused by that other person? You see what I mean? How we can take this into this whole radically big thing. But when you consciously understand that you are an empath, you do feel other people, it's a choice on how you respond to it. Are you responding in the way that you want to be treated? Why do you think the golden rule is so popular around the world? It's said in a little bit of a variation, but we all need to remember to treat other people the same way that we want to be treated. I don't want people to feel everything I've gone through. I don't want them to feel the moments that I've been terrified in my life in order to be empathetic with me. I wouldn't want anybody to spend a moment experiencing my pain just so that they can give me compassion. That doesn't make any sense. No. Compassion is always there, but empathy teaches you to turn it on. It teaches you to feel pain and to feel joy. Empathy is not about just feeling pain. It's about feeling joy. It's about feeling the power to overcome. It's about feeling everything. Everything. And compassion is the cure. Compassion is the cure. So no, you don't have to have the same experiences as somebody else, and you don't have to visualize and pretend that you know what that feels like. But you're a human being, and if you open yourself far enough, you'll be able to feel not only their pain, but the joy of overcoming. Never forget that. I would never encourage you to go into a situation and challenge yourself to feel what they're feeling. If you can't feel it initially, if it isn't natural for you to feel it, do not push. Do not force yourself to try to feel another person's pain. If you can't do it, then just send them peace and let it be. Send them compassion. Don't ever try to be in the other person's shoes in that way. We all have pain. We know what it feels like, regardless of the set of circumstances. And that's the thing that I always feel with compassion. Compassion is compassion, regardless of the circumstances that cause the pain. It's not an easy thing. So I'm so glad you brought that up because, yeah. Nora?
Hi, yes. Could you talk to the issue about maybe having too much compassion, too much empathy, where it ends up being detrimental to yourself? You lose yourself in other people's needs, other people's, you know,
Yes.
you're just, the empathy is just over, the balance is off.
Yes. And I can answer that in one word and then we'll bring it out. But the one word is discernment.
Discernment.
Yes, absolutely. I know it's shocking, isn't it? What do you mean discernment? Okay. So like I said, I'm a person that I just kind of am one of these people that was just born in a way where I'm open. That has not always been so easy. And I have rushed in too many times to try to help people to help themselves when it wasn't my business. Because I was not being discerning. But when you get more discerning, you realize how we cross our line just because we can feel. And we should never get so involved with another person's pain that we become that pain. You see, that's a lack of discernment. There is no reason you should never, ever, ever get so involved with somebody else's pain that you no longer can see clearly. And everybody does it because we're human beings and we're all empathetic. It is the nature of a human being to be empathetic. Every single person is empathetic. It isn't just people like me and do what I do for a living. No way. Mine is done consciously. Every person is empathetic. Compassion will never harm you. It will never hurt you feeling that way for another person. Compassion should never be mixed up with feeling sorry for someone. When we feel sorry for someone, we actually look at them as being weak. Oh, I feel so sorry for their weakness. Compassion would never do that. Compassion recognizes pain regardless of the circumstances, and it makes you just want to send a prayer. What I always encourage you to do is send a prayer and then let it go. Send a prayer and let it go. Send a prayer and let it go. So that you come back to yourself and you keep giving yourself compassion, because if compassion was a bad thing or if it had a negative side to it, then I wouldn't just like put it out there that you have to have it for yourself every single day. Compassion will never make you weak and sticky. It will never make you feel sorry for people and make you just kind of, feel like they're weak and they can't do anything about it. Compassion is this strength that we know that we have to overcome, and that if you send it to another person, you're sending them strength for them to be able to overcome themselves. Compassion is strength. And it's activated when you feel pain from yourself or from someone else. But if you start to feel yourself just feeling drained, it means that you're not using your discernment. And we have to use our discernment and understand that just because the other person isn't improving, it's not because we're not giving them enough. It means they can't do any better than what they're doing. So you send help, you give it to them, and they use it or they don't. And you never get attached to are they going to use it or not. Yeah. Because we're like, but I gave them everything. I gave them the compassion. I gave them this. I gave them that and all this stuff. And they're still wallowing around. That's not our job to take their pain. It's not our job. Our job is to give some assistance and let it be. Give some assistance, let it be. That way we're not interfering with anybody's process. We're still open, we're still feeling, we still want to give, but we know not to overgive, not to overgive, because then that person will become dependent upon us and they won't grow naturally. So we don't want that either. All of these things are little subtle boundaries, little places where we have to learn the difference between helping and interfering. That's why I'm so big on that Ganesha prayer. No interference. We're not asking for divine help to hurt someone. Please come in and make this person stop doing this. Please take all of their money away. Please, no, we're not doing anything like that. We're just asking for the obstacles to be removed so that each of us can grow as a human being and actually be better for the planet. You know what I mean? So I thank you for your questions today. I really do. And I'm so glad that you were all here. And I hope that you're going to continue to practice understanding what it means to be an empath, means conscious empathy, conscious of it. And practice that with the word for July, which is the word balance. So what I'd encourage you to do is use that word balance in conversation. It's an easier word to use in conversation than a lot of our other virtues that we use. Just a couple of weeks ago, I went on a walk with my sister and it was on some uneven trails. And I kept telling her, oh my gosh, I really want to focus on balance. So I kept focusing on balance. And then at the end of the day, I was even thinking, that's going to be the next word, balance. Because it's not just physical balance, it's our mental balance, our emotional balance. It's all of the balance that we have. And it can be knocked off just because we feel like something that's happened to us didn't seem fair. And the next thing you know, you're knocked off balance. Now you're like, see, it's all their fault, blah, blah, blah. No more compassion for them because now they're the enemy. It's a slippery slope. So I hope that during the month of July, you really focus on balance in every way possible and know that you can insert it into conversation a little bit easier than some of the other words that we usually do. And it's a good thing because you'll be like, oh, I used the word of the month. So anyway, thank you so much. And I wish you the best July. Happy 4th. And peace be with you. Namaste.
Thank you, Jacqueline.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you, love. Bye.
Bye. Best to everyone.
Yeah. Peace.